me and Fox. This was definitely a match that favored me in terms of team, up and down. I knew that he loved getting into Trick Room, and that was like his win con. But on the other end, I have Escav, uh, and it's the slowest thing on the field. Um, and my team's generally pretty fast, but because I have Escav as like my lone Trick Room abuser, that alone puts it makes his match a lot harder than it already is with Grim and Togekiss. So having Escav obviously was a big deal, even though I wasn't. I don't think I bring it game one because I wanted to. I had a plan just right out the gate that could stop Trick Room no matter what. Obviously, we had all practiced. You guys had helped me practice a little bit for the match, and neither of you could get up Trick Room successfully. Like no matter how hard you tried, no matter even if you knew what I was running, you couldn't get
Not
it up.
we couldn't get it up turn one.
No,
Yeah.
we never
So
could.
like I had a sure way to stop it. So that was like huge for me. So once I saw his team, I felt very comfortable because I was, even though I have Togekiss, I was more scared of like his faster mons and even the Guzzlord again because he could have run something completely different on Guzzlord that I wasn't prepared for. But like Urshifu with like Focus Dash, it's super fast. It can hit Togekiss super effective with Poison Jab, same with Grimmsnarl. Chandelure was my my Trick Room stopper with just Imprison because you can't fake it out. It would die to Wicked Blow from Happy. And then to start, I didn't think he was going to bring Mr. Mime because I had not run screens a whole lot this season. So I wasn't really expecting him to bring that. So that was kind of a surprise to me. And then, honestly, his biggest threats on the team that I saw on Team Preview were offensively the Mudsdale and not Volcarona, the Vikavolt, just because in practice they put out insane amounts of damage in Trick Room and even out of Trick Room, you could play it properly. And Fox is a good enough player to play it properly. So those do massive amounts of damage to my team, like whether they're max steel spikes, whether they're max lightnings, even the max steel spike from the Vikavolt is an issue. But he had ways to beat me, and I think if he couldn't get up Trick Room, his win con from there would have been to beef up his Mudsdale or even his Vikavolt so that I couldn't hit him very hard because I have a lot of physical attackers. So if he just gets up a bunch of steel spikes with with Mudsdale and either Vikavolt, then it would be hard to break his team because it already is bulky. He has the recover for P2. He's got Rage Powder to take less damage from hits. So he could beef up those two offensive threats. But yeah, and then Low Punny obviously was another threat that isn't really an offensive threat, is more of like a specialist where it can switcheroo, either like Flame Orb. He ends up having Lagging Tail in this matchup. But I was honestly more scared of Flame Orb because of all my physical attackers like Kartana, like Lando, Escav. And if you get them burned, it's tough. And then Vikavolt obviously not Vikavolt, Volcarona to hit my Kartana hard with the heat waves or the flamethrowers, and the rage powders. I'm honestly, I was when I saw a couple of his moves, I was a little surprised, and I understand why he put them on there. I think because more so accuracy, like he put flamethrower on Volcarona versus heat wave. Because of I would assume the accuracy drop, the risk of missing. I don't think he wants to miss, obviously. But knowing I have Chandelure on my team in the back, even if while he's prepping, I feel like he should definitely see that I have Flash Fire, and Kartana is a really good brink for me in this matchup. And if I can keep it alive, then it's pretty tough for him to win. So if he would have Heat Wave, I couldn't ally switch into a flamethrower like Chandelure can do, because I do have an ally switch on this Chandelure set. But yeah, do you guys want to start the video and get started? Go turn by turn?
The amount of prep you did is awesome. You know, the amount of thinking that went into just team preview, and in that 90 seconds you have to assess everything. You immediately say on the stream too, you're happy to not see Guzzlord or Urshifu, but then
Yeah.
the amount of thinking you see it already just in what you just said as well. So yeah, I'm so excited to start the video and watch it.
Yeah, I think also just being playing in draft leagues. Obviously, this is the second season that we've played, and playing Pokemon in general, just ladder and stuff. You kind of get to know like the biggest strength you can have as a battler and like a trainer, I guess, is just knowledge, knowing what Pokemon do, knowing their abilities, knowing what items they like to run, moves, and then you can get stumped and get um, screwed over a little bit by if they run something that you're not expecting. That's like where a lot of the issues can come in a draft league because people can run some funky stuff. But like I know everything that his team does just from playing, and like moves aside, I know the like capability of each mon, and I know how to how I can assess it. Like I know P2 is not necessarily a big offensive Pokemon. It's gonna run Eviolite. I know Mr. Mime isn't gonna put out a lot of power, but it can set up Trick Room. It can always switch. It can fake out. Like I know what his offensive threats are. I know what his defensive threats are. So like that's like just knowledge is power. So when you're prepping like that, you got to kind of assess that, and especially in a team preview when you only have 90 seconds, you have to like figure out what the threats are and then figure out your best ways to stop them.
I hope someone that's new to the draft league is watching this right now, because that was just a wealth of information I would have loved to have before my first season too. You know,
Yeah,
just
sure.
I hope this helps someone in the draft league going forward, or someone in another draft league going forward that's just looking for information. Because that's so true what you just said, and that helps build a team and helps you win battles too
Yeah.
when you're looking at
Yeah.
the. So yeah, all right, let's start this up.
Do you want to talk about your lead and who you chose and why?
Okay, yeah, sure. So like I said before, Trick Room was the biggest his biggest win con, and I had a way to 100% stop it, and that was Grimmsnarl Chandelure. I had in prison on my Chandelure, and I had taunt on my Grimmsnarl. It might sound a little overkill to have both those to just try to stop one thing, but I have them just because he could run something I'm not expecting, and I will 100% stop it 100% of the time. However, I played the first turn wrong, um, and he got up Trick Room,
Yep.
which is actually it's really funny because I thought I kind of I got a little overconfident just from thinking I could stop it in a certain way, and I didn't think that he would have like taunt on Mr. Mime. So as you can see, I'm picking the two ways to stop Trick Room, and then I pick two fast mons, not Escab because I know I can stop Trick Room. So I have Lando and Kartana in the back because Lando stops his Vikavolt if he brings that as an offensive threat, and Kartana is a threat to his entire team. I think it hits everything except for Vikavolt, super effective.
I want to know, in practices, I was using the slowest Mr. Mime for the Trick Room, and I was just like, wow, I never even thought to run taunt like that fast version.
Yeah.
Fox did, and that's why he was in the finals too.
For sure. Okay, so we see Mr. Mime Porygon, which is kind of what I expected because that's his this is his one lead that he used in the regular season where he got up Trick Room, because you kind of have to guess when you're using taunt. You have to guess which one is going to Trick Room, and Mr. Mime can just fake out. So here, I was actually expecting a fake out from Mr. Mime into the Grim, and I figured, okay, he's just gonna fake out my Grimmsnarl and easily get up Trick Room with P2, but I'll be able to stop it with Imprison. And Fox is too good of a player to know that I'm running Imprison on Chandelure. He's just too good of a player to know. He knows that's what Chandelure does. So instead of doing a taunt on the Porygon 2, I went for the switcheroo to get the Eviolite off right away because I figured he's just going to fake me out. If I can get it off, that's a big win for me. So I get it off, but he just taunts me. So that
You
to me, that
can't.
really puts me in a bad position. But then I know right away I can't switch out into these mons in the back because they're too fast, and they both have ice moves. So Chandelure's going to die. They're both special attackers for them. I think, yeah, both special attackers. And so Kartana's not going to want to take these hits. So I kind of have to stay in here with both of these, which I get pretty lucky. He decides to switch out his Porygon 2, and I just go for Heat Wave. I think that if he didn't switch out Porygon 2 into the Vikavolt, he would probably have. I don't want to say he would have won, but he would have been in a way better position, clearly.
Yeah, that was huge.
Because I knew he had Sash on Mr. Mime, or I assumed he did. So crit didn't really matter there because all I wanted to do was break his potential Sash, and
Yeah.
Heat Wave is super effective. So as long as I land both Heat Waves, I will do massive damage to both these.
Which you did, and Vikavolt just took crazy damage. It was almost down to like 10% or 15%, which was a good, I think, great win for you that turn.
Yeah. Vikavolt is very, it's not super frail, but it's also, Chandeler's special attack is like 145. It's insane. It's just also. So if you can get attacks off with it, it's pretty nuts.
See, as a viewer, when I just saw P2 get the Prankster, I expected Eerie Impulses right away. I was like, he's going to Eerie Yeah.
You see me, I taunt his Porygon 2 because that's what I expected. And I also knew that it was a safe play because I could taunt his recovers.
And I was kind of shocked here, too, that Vikavolt was the one that Dynamaxed.
Yeah, I was too. I was super shocked. He had one chance to kill my my Chandelure, and I think that's what he tries to do. But if he doesn't kill it, then I just win game one. That's the risk of maxing Vikavolt here. And he doesn't go for the Chandelure, he goes for the Grimmsnarl, which is not in my eyes, it's not a great play because the Chandelure is more of a threat than Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl did its job. It's not really doing anything at this point. Like it's just gonna hit Spirit Breaks, and I already taunted the Porygon 2, so there's not much he can do there.
Yep, and then hitting that Heat Wave again just kind of seals the deal for Vikavolt that turn. And you do some decent damage to Pete. That thing's so bulky, but you still do some good damage that turn.
And that was
he got
Ice Beam crit there that did like 10%. I think I was running 2 to 2 HP and like 156 or something EVs in special defense. Like I was a super bulky Chandelure.
Wow. Yeah, see, with this high special attack that it has, you don't even need to invest into that much. You can still so hard.
Especially when I'm not using it as an offensive Pokemon, you don't really like. I'm not planning on using it offensively. I'm planning it just to be a imprisoned stand-in and just let him avoid getting up Trick Rooms, which didn't happen. But being able to hit really hard Heat Waves is really nice.
And he got another crit.
Yes, he's getting a lot of crits, but obviously his only offensive threat to me was the Vikavolt, and it died because it just switched in. It's just unlucky. Like I said, if he didn't switch in, and even if I missed the Vikavolt, he would have been in a better position and maybe even had a chance to win.
Yeah.
So I know here I take game one. I know I win game one. But there's information that I have that could be super useful to him that I'm trying not to show. I didn't want to bring in Kartana because I didn't want to die from the Volcarona potential Heat Wave. And I didn't want to have to reveal Ally Switch with Chandelure this game. So I figured I could bring in Lando. I have my Yachi Berry to take any ice attack. And I know that I can kill Porygon before he lands an ice attack. But here I went for Imprison here because it was the last turn in Trick Room, and just in case something happens to where taunt ends and he wants to try to get up Trick Room to win for somehow, that was just so easy, kind of a safe play.
You took that option off the table.
Yeah, I just wanted to take it off the table for sure, and plus having Ally Switch too. I wanted to take that off the table. So yeah, here's obviously no, I won the game right here. I'm pretty sure. And I go to Max Lando, and I don't think I realized that taunt ended. So he goes for
Oh,
recover here, and I don't kill him here. Um,
yeah, it ended right after it said shook off the taunt, Trick Room ends. Back to back. Oh, wow.
Yep, goes for
so
recover.
he gets the recover, and he's prankster too, so he goes first.
That's,
Um,
I forgot that's why he went first for a second. Oh, my God.
mhm. So I didn't get burned, which was huge, and I
Huge.
got really good information there. Just because I know he doesn't have a spread fire move, he only has flamethrower, which means now I can easily, I can safely bring in Kartana and Chandelier and ally switch if he has Volcarona out.
Great. That's such planning for the future games on your end, too.
Yeah, and you'll see it next game because I use it right away. And then here's I'm still scared of the ice beam to try to, not because I'm gonna die, but because it's gonna reveal my Yachi Berry. And I don't want him to reveal it. I want him to think that I'm like Lumberry because that's what I've ran for like the most of the season. Lumberry, Life Orb, Self Vest. I don't want him to see I'm the Yachi Berry. So I'm
So,
still going off
yeah.
Porygon 2. He either has to recover or he's gonna die.
Yeah. And either of those plays don't reveal the Yachi Berry. I love it.
Yes. And then I'm trying to think. Okay, so he Rage Powders. This was a good play for him because now he could potentially ice me and get that info.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But I think I rockfalled the Porygon 2 slot because I knew it would kill, but also just in case he Rage Powdered, I could still kill the Volcarona. Like that was a safe player to do the rockfall.
Yep, that was probably good info too. That
Like,
you figured out what berry he had.
yeah,
On him that turn.
yeah. So I'm getting all this sort of information that's good for game 2 and 3, and he's gotten little to none.
Exactly. And that's what really sets you up well for game 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
So I win, obviously, and I remember saying to myself on the stream, I'm one game down. I got to win one more. He's gonna win 2, so I'm in a really good position. But I know that the game could have been switched. It could have been so much different if he didn't switch in the vehicle. It's just crazy how the smallest thing just it has a big effect in the battle.
Builds up. Momentum huge. When you see a play like that, you're like, let's go. When he sees a play like that, he's like, oh no. It's not, it really switches the momentum when you get a good read like that.
Mm-hmm.
So going into game 2, what was your game plan for the second one?
So my game plan was I could have went for the Grim Chandelier lead, and I think about that originally, but I decided to end up going for Chandelier Kartana because I felt that he wasn't going to lead the same thing because of how I don't want to say easy, but how fast game 1 went and how like one-sided it was. Uh, that you can see me switching up my thinking about what I want to bring.
Mm-hmm.
I decide to go Chandelier Kartana because I think he's going to bring something along the lines of like Lopunny and have Mudsdale either up front or in the back. And he actually brings that exact lead. He brings Lopunny, Mudsdale, which is like I got the whole play. The last 2 games of playoffs, like I called. I think every single set, the last 4 sets I played, I called every single lead, which
Let's,
is super hard to do. It's not. It's just lucky. I got super lucky. Uh,
well, I think you prepped well too. Luck
yeah.
mixed, prepping well, mixed with, like a lot of battles under your belt too. This is the second time you're seeing him in the finals too. So that's a lot of information that you just have in the back of your head.
Mhm.
That's all there building up to this game too.
Yeah. So here I'm really thinking hard about if I want to bring Lando or Escav. I was contemplating it because I don't know if I wanted to bring 4 times fire weakness against him. But I also really know that he doesn't have Heat Wave, he has Flamethrower, and I have Chandelier, so I can just ally switch if need be, and I can play around that if I'm smart. I didn't think I needed Lando for game 2, especially what I thought he was going to bring. Um, so I opted for having Escav in the back because I didn't have Grimmsnarl Chandler in the lead as well. It means I might not be able to stop tricking him if he gets it up again, if he leads the same Porygon 2 Mr. Mime. So if he does get Trick Room up, then I have an easy switch in to be the fastest thing on the field.
So I just saw that turn 1. Is my thing a little bit ahead of your guys?
Yeah, mine. I just picked the moves for turn 1.
Yeah, so that was so much fun to see. You're like, all right, we're maxing turn 1. We're going max overgrowth. And then that switch is really disheartening.
Yeah, no, that was definitely disheartening. I knew that I could do a ton of damage to Mudsdale if I just what's it called, max overgrowth. And I knew just from watching Fox all season, and this is the downside of streaming, is that you're able to watch every single game they play and you know their play style. I know how he uses low punny. I know he has switcheroo on there. I know he has some sort of item. I thought it was flame orb, but it ended up being lagging tail. So what I do is ally switch because I know he's going to want to switch through the Kartana, and he does. So I called that play, which was awesome, but I didn't call the switch, and now I just wasted a turn of Max, and he still has his healthy Mudsdale on the back, so it was a really good safe play by him. Unfortunately, like I said, he switcheroos into the Chandelier slot because I switcherooed, and I get his lagging tail, which doesn't really affect me that much because it only works in your priority bracket, so I can still ally switch and be the first thing that moves.
And Trick Room is always the last move. So if you do want to imprison, it'll go before his Trick Room if he does want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's two.
I love. Go ahead.
No, I love what. And now Airstream into Volcarona, you broke the potential Focus Sash with that switch in too. So it wasn't all bad for you, that switch.
No, there's definitely benefits to it, but when you max, you don't want to waste turns doing very little damage.
Especially 4 times like weak move, you know.
Yeah. But I do know I have Aerial Ice on there, so I have the max Airstream to do super effective hits. And I also knew this was a safe play because if he switches, or if he ally switches, actually I don't think he has ally switch on.
I don't think Pokemon's get it. I'm not too sure. I could be wrong because it's been surprised Pokemon get access to that move.
But that was a super safe move, unless he had Scarf, which he didn't. So he either had to run ally switch or Scarf to be faster or survive. And if he had Focus Sash, then I already broke the Sash.
Yep.
So here he steals my Sash, but I break it with a Heat Wave, so it's basically a solid turn for me anyways.
He just takes it away from you, exactly.
Yeah.
But
and
now
I don't need Sash on Kartana anyways.
So that was That was a really good turn. You got the Airstream up. You got a Beast Boost going off of that, and then he brings out P2 and immediately steals your Flash Fire, which we saw, I know, a lot of times during the practice runs that we ran.
Yeah, I think every single practice run it was Flash Fire like 95% of the time that you stole. And that's just the RNG a little bit. So here I decided to go for Max Knuckle. I figured he would get Trick Room up. I'm surprised he didn't, or didn't try to. And I think that was a little bit of a throw because I go from Max Knuckle to if I can get a kill, awesome. But I'm doing it just to boost my attack, which now I essentially get +2, and I'm +3 now because I got a kill the turn before. So I'm a +3 Kartana. He's down 2 Mons. It's 4-2. He just protected, so
he can't get Trick Room up.
So now he can't get Trick Room up. But it wouldn't have mattered if he tried a Trick Room because I would have imprisoned it anyways, just because of how Lagging Tail works. Trick Room would still go last.
Trick Room's
Lagging Tail.
Yep.
So I would. It was a super safe turn there, and it's unfortunate for him.
And with the +1 speed, you don't even have to worry about.
Yeah. So here, because I'm +3, I don't care about the Eviolite. I don't care if he ally switches, which he can't because I imprisoned, and I can just OHKO the Mudsdale. He can't live it. So I know I win this game, I think.
And this is a stab, grassy terrain boosted, +3 boosted Leaf Blade.
Yeah. I think +1 or +2 kills max Mudsdale anyways.
And this was double that.
Yeah. So his only hope to survive is if he had Rendo Berry, which he didn't have.
Yeah. And he's out of here.